I think you're always going to see assorted phenotypes from any batch of seed because you're always going to have recessives in there. You're always going to have different expression. And, I mean, within here you see some really tall things.
In this shot right here, there's like 4.
At least.
Yeah.
You could really see the difference.
Bottom, left, top,
yeah.
right.
Yeah.
Maybe at the end I'll show you the secret garden that got pollinated.
Oh.
Yeah. I wanted to see what would happen, and boy, did it happen.
So it's possible that these are all from the same seed, but because of the fact that different genetic markers are going to turn off and on certain characteristics, you're going to end up with different expressions. So some of them are really tall, some have, back here you've got real dark plant, you've got some that are quite yellow with their leaves.
And then you see some of them that have, let me show an example of this. This is a good example of how the pollen kept pollinating, but the seeds will not ever mature. Like there's the top part, there's seeds that want to form because they'll just continue accepting the pollen, but they won't ever mature. So this is a good example of a lot of pollen received ongoingly, but immature seeds. The inside has them too. And that's where you should see the matured seeds inside because they get pollinated first, but nope.
And here we have a stalk that's wrapped with bindweed. You can actually see the powdery mildew on the bindweed here, and it's just starting to infect the lower leaves. So I'm going to pull those leaves off because the other leaves are fine, but you really don't want the powdery mildew to get around and infect the other leaves that are in the pile because they're going to get warm and encourage mold anyhow while you've got them all piled up. And so you really want to make sure that you have as little as possible. Here's another one. Just on the very beginning of powdery mildew on that leaf. So.
Ew, it is that bindweed.
Yep.
This is a good example of something munching. I'm guessing it's the birds. They're munching on the seeds, so they're taking the little seeds out, hanging out, and then there's the little destruction left over. I'll try to find a better example.
Bindweed in this area over here.
Yeah, that bindweed is real hard to control. I went through all summer weeding and trying to control the bindweed.
It grows so fast.
If I did it, it probably would have pulled the plants down to the ground.
Yeah, it grows in my driveway, and I always let it grow in the driveway because it has pretty little white flowers. But once it tries to move out of the driveway, it gets pulled up.
Sorry, grasshoppers, you have to find a new home. Oopsie.
Now some of the ones that are branched close to the ground are actually easier to harvest because you only have a single fork or a double fork, while other ones are branched all the way up the plant, which makes it a little more difficult to harvest unless you just cut off the very tops of the plants.
These are not good versions for machine cutting. This would not be a good version for machine.
No, not at all, because not unless you had a machine that just cut everything off.
Or maybe that strip
at ground
the plant.
level.
Yeah, like strip the plant, perhaps. I don't know if there's
because of the lack of uniformity in height.
Yeah, and because it's bushy on the bottom, it should just be like a cola on the top. I heard there's something that can strip the plant, though.
I would think that combines could do that. because
the combine just cuts the top part, doesn't it?
well, we would combine corn in Ohio, and when you combined the corn, it came out shucked. So it would somehow take the corn out of the stalk, and it moved it up this conveyor belt after it shucked it, and then dumped it into the farm trucks. So I would think you might be able to do the same sort of thing. And these would be difficult because of the hail damage to actually be able to even cut them at ground level. Whereas Ryan, what he was doing this year to finish up is he's taking the tractor out, just cutting everything down at once and harvesting by hand after it's cut. But he had significantly more weed growth and more acreage than is here. So, you know, the more acres you get.
He had more, and his were like the way hemp should look. Mine are like big bushes from the hill and have less plants.
Yeah, his were actually pretty easy to pull up by the roots.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And some you couldn't, or I couldn't, but the guys could. And he had some pretty big stalks, but his were not as dense as these.
I hear you, but I can't see you.
I'm hiding.
Oh, there you are.
I'm digging up my baby trees.
Oh.
Well, I was planning to.
No, I know. We're not over that far yet, so you're safe and sound. We're recording.
Baby tree in the hemp field.
Baby trees in the hemp field. We were talking about creating some shade.
Oh.
Because it was just so hot out here. The sun was... This gets real good sun exposure.
Yeah, if people didn't have a pop-up or didn't have a canopy, it would have been pretty sweltering.
Oh, yeah.
That first day in particular. The second day, the wind picked up a little bit and cooled it off. Oh, we have a grasshopper on this plant. You know, you're going to have to find a new home, bud. Go.
No, they're not going to know where to go because they've been
go.
living in here.
He doesn't want to let go, man. I wonder if they're eating the seed.
I don't know.
Because he's clustered right up here at the top. Let me take this branch.
Can grasshoppers actually eat a seed?
Oh, they've got those mandibles that go back and forth, right? Haven't you
know
ever
that.
dissected a grasshopper?
No. Not that I can remember, but high school was a long time ago. Ugh.
I mean, most of the time they eat leaves.